From the center of the universe, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, this is the SDM Show with your host, Rob Cairns. The SDM Show focuses on business, life, productivity, digital marketing, WordPress, and more. Sit back, relax, grab your favorite drink, and enjoy the show. Here is Rob.
Hey everybody, I'm Rob Cairns. I'm the founder, CEO, and Chief Digital Strategist at Stunning Digital Marketing. In today's show, we have our monthly marketing segment with Miss Bridget Willard. And Bridget and I are going to talk about, have you looked at the homepage of your website lately? Sit back, relax, and enjoy the great discussion. The SDM Show is brought to you by Stunning Digital Marketing, the digital marketing concierge that helps you put all your marketing pieces together. We are your marketing experts. We are also your WordPress security experts and know how to lock down a website and protect yourself from bad actors. So contact us at Stunning Digital Marketing today. Hey everybody, Rob Cairns here. And today I'm here with my good friend, Miss Bridget Willard. Hey Bridget, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Doing really good. So today we're going to talk about when was the last time you looked at your homepage on your website. And I'd like to preface this by saying you really should be looking at not just your homepage, but every other page on your website on a regular basis. Links do go bad, calls to action become outdated, contact forms don't always work the way you think they do. So where do you want to start?
Well, I quickly wrote down some notes, okay? I was like, does it
Uh-oh.
still reflect what you do?
Yeah.
Is it clear messaging? Are there social links on it? These are from recent conversations with people. This isn't just, pulled in. Is your address correct?
Yep.
Do the links in your footer work? How does it look
Mhm.
on a 13-inch laptop? And how does it work on your phone? Because so I had to get some paperwork ready for an AFLAC claim. And I'm looking at this pharmacy, and they have a giant menu on the top, and they have a giant footer. And there's
Yep.
like maybe 40% of the screen left to see when my orders were for this online pharmacy. Not a small
Yep.
place. AbbVie, who makes Synthroid, which is a thyroid medication. Not a small company, a publicly traded company, wasting all of this real estate on the header and the footer. And, I think a lot of times, I know a lot of times, web developers have multiple screens, multiple large screens, and they create the design and they test it on their monitors. They don't think about the use case of regular people who have a laptop or maybe don't
Yep.
even have one at all. And it's super annoying.
Yep. My partner Tiz is a really good example. She uses a phone and an iPad at home and doesn't even use a computer. So, there's the classic use case right there. More and more seniors are going to either iPads or Chromebooks. They're not even going to PCs or laptops once they leave the business world. There's another use case. And then we need to keep in mind that mobile is probably 60 to 70% of all searches right now anyway, because that
Right.
phone's in our pocket. So we need to think about that too, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so how your menus work on the mobile version of your website or toggling don't show this on a mobile, those kinds of things matter, you know. When you're building a website, not everybody thinks about this. They're obsessed about the design. I'm more obsessed about the use case and the words.
No, I agree
So,
with you. Um, the other key was you said was making sure information's up to date. We need to get small businesses and big businesses out of this mindset that once we create the website, we're done and we're finished with it. You need to make sure you keep that information up to date on a regular basis because corporate information and your direction as a business changes. So you need to pass it on to your potential viewers or customers, right?
exactly. And The other day, my friend sent me a homepage just because we were laughing at this shit. I don't
Yep.
even know how long I scrolled on my phone. It also doesn't need to say everything about you. That's why you have a
Yep.
website with multiple pages and URLs so that you can explore the complexities of your business and do your own PR however you want it. The homepage should be like bing, bang, boom, super focused. Who are you? Who is your target audience? It should speak to them right away. It's not supposed to
Mhm.
be every single thing.
No, you shouldn't really be taking your 10 services you offer and put those on the homepage. It's not the place for them. You might want to put the link, say to two or three key services on your homepage directly, but I wouldn't put all that information on your homepage. It clutters it up. Now, do you have any thoughts on how much scroll should be in your homepage and how you should lay it out?
I mean, I'm not a UX expert. I just have opinions. Uh,
Go ahead. So do
but
I, but that's another story.
But, as a person who's using websites for a reason, I'm looking for some information for whatever reason, either doing research for biz dev for myself or for a client article or just for your personal life, trying to find out where is this hotel I just reserved on Marriott Bonvoy's app?
Yep.
And why is
Yep.
it so hard to find the address?
Hmm.
Okay, this is ridiculous. And so Um, it shouldn't be too many scrolls. I know that. I would say if it's like five scrolls, that just all of a sudden feels too much, you know?
Yep.
I've been trained by the internet to go to the footer for everything I'm looking for. Social
Yep.
links, your
I agree.
address, your phone number, um, you know, terms of service, privacy policy, blah, 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 all that stuff.
And can I stop you right there since we're talking about the footer?
Yeah.
Anybody who doesn't put quick menu items in the footer in this day of mobile where people scroll to the bottom and don't scroll back up, I think is insane. You need to take not all your menu, but your key stuff. Please put it in the footer. Because if I'm
Yeah.
down at the bottom of the page, I don't want to have to go back up, especially on my phone.
Well, it's a missed opportunity, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So, I
of
mean, we
course.
could definitely be like scolding people, but at the same time, you're paying for this real estate, you're paying for the domain name, you're paying
Yep.
for the hosting. I hope you're paying somebody to maintain your website because you're supposed to
Like
be
me.
baking cookies and selling those. You're not supposed to be tinkering with your website. Yeah, like Rob.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
thank you.
I mean, a bunch of us do this kind of work. It's really not hard to find a WordPress developer. But like, I recently got a call from somebody who searched for marketing agencies in Corpus Christi. And this
Yep.
person is very inspiring. He's really good at cold calls. He's doing the work.
Yeah.
He's doing the work. And then I said to him, well, do you have a website? No, no, I have a domain name. Well, he didn't say it in this words. He just said it was unpublished. And I found out he
Yeah.
like has a domain with Wix, but he never publicly posted the website, right? So I was like, oh man, you're doing all this great outreach, cold outreach, walking into offices, telling them about your services and whatnot. And then when they go to check you out, they can't find your website.
Yeah.
That's so sad
I know.
because it takes 10 times to overcome a bad experience.
Yeah.
So once you've done that cold outreach and they've had a bad experience looking for you, are they going to trust you? This is why it's so important to have your infrastructure laid down first. Your website, social links, even if you're not using them, get it all done. If you're in home services, Angie, Yelp, yada yada, Google Business. We've already talked about Google Maps, Apple Maps,
Mhm.
Bing, places. Like this is to me, this is like day one stuff before you
Yep.
start knocking on doors. But that's because
Yeah.
this is what I do. So it was a revelation. So I'm like, oh, I'm glad we had this topic because it's so fresh. It's
Mm-hmm.
worth it to spend the money. It's it's
Yep.
your business.
100%. And you got to, I think your homepage really should be your best content, kind of, right? Plus a call to action. And also be honest that the important stuff needs to be above the scroll. In newspaper lingo, we used to call it above the fold, but above the scroll. If it were me, I would stay away from putting a slider on my homepage. Please don't waste the real estate. I know it looks pretty, but don't do it.
It doesn't even look pretty. Why should I use a carousel.com? I think it's the website if it's still up. It's just not, it's, even giant headers. I
Yep.
had a really beautifully designed website from Rhonda Nagard of Fat Dog Creatives. But I was frustrated at what it looked like. I had people tell me on the phone uh, that like took them forever to scroll just to see the words. I'm like, that's it. I'm taking this all down. It's just gonna be very word
Mhm.
focused
Yeah, I agree.
because that's what people
I
are
agree.
trying to find. And then, what?
Unless now there are some exceptions. If you're a photographer or an art seller, that's a different ballgame, right? Like
Yeah, a wedding
there's always an
venue,
exception. Wedding venues,
florist. But don't forget you have
florists.
Instagram for those pictures too. It doesn't all have to be right there.
Mhm.
It doesn't have to be this giant movie cinematic, thing,
Yep.
So like when I'm talking about small businesses, I'm usually talking about, well, I'm talking to any WordPress developer who needs help marketing for sure. But also I think about all these restaurants and shops we all go to. We're trying to see if they're open, you know. Even in the video that just came out today for the book of that Warren and I wrote with you, I was talking about this one restaurant had a padlock on
Yep.
it, and I left them a comment. They said, "Well, sometimes we do a deep clean." Well, you didn't put a sign on the door.
Yep.
You didn't put anything on Google Maps, which is so easy. Just open Google Maps on your phone, and then you
Mhm.
could put a picture of the sign you put on the window that says you're not closed down, you're just closed for cleaning. We would have
Yep.
seen that and not chosen that. Instead, I'm
Yep.
never going back there. I
No,
don't
I
know if
agree
you're going
with
to
you.
be available, right? So
Yeah.
it- you know, I think people forget that websites matter. They think,
Yeah.
oh, I'll just use AI or just,
Or just Facebook or Instagram, and I don't need a website. And I think that's the biggest mistake you can make. So, and
oh, it
to be
is.
fair, if you look at the number one visited page on the website, all analytics will always tell you it's the homepage. So that's the
Yeah.
page. If you're going to fix and keep up to date one page, it should be that one, right?
Yes. And then so on the point of is the language clear?
Mhm.
I would make sure that it's not some vague, we provide robust solutions to keep businesses optimized.
Yep.
What
Yep.
does that even mean?
Mhm. Mhm. It means we talk over the head of our potential client and we like industry jargon, right?
It doesn't, you know, like
I'm just
I
saying.
think I think I have on my homepage like, oh, if you're a one person marketing team and you need help, you're overwhelmed and marketing's supposed to be fun, I'm your girl, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to talk in the way that you're like in the same language that your audience talks.
Yep.
And I
That's true.
mean, I'm constantly doing talking about this or just not being so jargon focused.
Yeah.
Or if you do have jargon, you define it, right? So when I was at Riggins Construction, they specialize in design build construction, which means we hire the architect, we design
Hmm.
it, and then we put it out to bid instead of you go hire an architect and then get different general contractors. It
Yep.
streamlines the process. So you can say we're a design build contractor in Orange County, California, but nobody is looking for a design build contractor unless they're a commercial real estate broker and they know that, but they're not even going to use that term. They're going to use tenant improvements, right?
Hmm.
So
Yep.
if your audience is a commercial real estate broker, you can use your terms, but you also need to define them, right?
Yep.
So this is why it's really important to have clear language.
Yep. So
Um,
true.
and and on that point of clarity, we have to talk about accessibility.
Yes. Go ahead.
So I I've had it. I'm going to be 52 this month. I have had it up to here with these black websites from 1997 with white text. That is so hard on the eyes.
Oh yeah, it's terrible.
I mean, so there's like, yeah, it's still accessible, it passes the test, but it's so hard to read. It's
Yep.
only easy to read if you're in a dark environment.
Yep.
So, I mean, unless you want your website to look like an IDE, that makes no sense.
Hmm. I
Who is
agree.
reading your website?
I wholeheartedly agree with you, Bridget.
I saw a website last month, was a potential lead, but it was going to be way more than her budget. Um, and she has these really great brand colors, but that
Hmm.
doesn't mean that should be the color of the heading because pink and white are
Oh,
not accessible. Pink text on a white background?
yeah.
No bueno. I
No,
don't
I
even
agree.
know if there's any shade of pink. Maybe these curtains, maybe like this pink on a white, but you got to test this stuff. You can't let your clients bully you around, go, that's their colors. Like
Yep.
you're
Yep.
responsible as the educated web professional. I put that on the designers. And
No, I agree with you.
you know, it's tricky because everybody wants their website to look like a brochure, like it's 1995.
Yep.
And that's not the purpose of a website.
No, I agree. A purpose of a website is generate leads, which convert the sales, which generate business. End of story.
Yes, and so it should be fast. So
Yes.
if you can't afford $30 a month hosting for your website, we have
Yep.
bigger problems.
Yep.
Okay?
You shouldn't be in business. You need to include your website as part of your marketing budget. It is a marketing tool. End of story.
It's more than that almost. It's almost I mean, it is a marketing tool because marketing is communications. But to me, it's like basic business infrastructure, like having
Yep.
a business bank account
Yep. I agree.
and not
I
commingling your funds.
Oh, I agree.
I mean, I'm
Any
supposed to
other
talk about
tips?
marketing topics, so
This is good.
so
Any other tips,
so
Bridget?
on the back end of that side, you should
Yeah.
have alternative text for the images that you have there. Like if this was a
Mhm.
screenshot,
Of
Bridget
course.
Willard sitting in front of a podcasting microphone at her desk
Being
with a
her
map in the
being
background.
harassed being harassed by Rob. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you want it for people who are using screen readers, and it's not
Yep.
just the blind. It's for anybody. It also helps with
The,
SEO. So,
yeah, the
like,
visually impaired. Yep.
yeah, so the clarity of the language, but does it totally reflect what you do? And my website was a perfect example because Rhonda and I came up with this great concept of like, because I really do organic social media, right? And so
Yep.
that's why we have this logo, which is a chat bubble that looks like it's bourbon and ice.
Hmm.
And then there's like a little hashtag up there, right? So
Yep.
it's really cute. But then there were so many analogies that we just had fun with that everybody kept saying to me, so do you only do marketing for liquor brands and bars?
Oh yeah.
Oops. The
Yeah.
language has to be clear, but it also has to be relevant to your target audience. I mean, I
I agree.
would, but I don't because I don't do that. I don't do retail. I only do business to business. marketing. So
Yeah.
the whole analogy fell apart because people took one look at it and were like, wow, she must be working with distributors.
Yeah,
Oops.
100% agree with you. Um, I think that gives people a lot to go on. I
Oh,
think
for sure.
they
I'm
need to look
sorry.
at their. No, don't be sorry. Don't be sorry. They need to look at their homepage. But as I said in my intro, then branch off the homepage and look at every other page, especially checking your forms. I don't know how many websites I've looked at this past week where the forms are not working properly. And it's like,
Test,
no wonder why
test,
you're not getting
test.
any leads. Just test this.
Or you're getting a lead, but they're not coming through. And then again, you've lost them. So
Yep.
are those customers going to give you the opportunity to come back?
Yep, it's true. Hey, Bridget, as always, BridgetWillard.com. Go bug Bridget. Go find her some work. She's great. She'll work with you and help your small business succeed. Go read the books. Um, the only social media marketing book you need amongst many others. So go have a read of it. And thanks for joining me, as always.
Bye.
Goodbye. This podcast has been brought to you by Stunning Digital Marketing, your digital marketing concierge to help the business owner put all his pieces together, whether it's email marketing, WordPress security, WordPress design and development, PPC, and more. Text Stunning Digital Marketing for all your digital marketing needs today. A very special thank you to Bridget Willard for joining me on this edition of the SDM Show. The SDM Show is dedicated to my late father, Bruce Cairns. Dad, I miss you very much every day. My mother, Ann Cairns, who's still doing really well and is an inspiration. And of course, Tiz Maroney. And Tiz, I know I've said it, but thank you so much for all the inspiration you give me every day.